Uh, Students, how are you? I think you are well and having a good time with this year. Today, I will present a lesson on transformation. Basically, I will focus on clause. Um, at the end of the class, students will be able to define clause, to classify clauses, and to form complex sentence with the clauses. In this lecture, basically students will be able to learn about the elements of complex sentence. Okay, you know that clause is called a passport to understanding complex sentence and compound sentence. In today's lesson, I will not focus on compound sentence, only I will focus to complex sentence. Okay, let's see some examples on the board. Okay, first example, I know what he said. Second example, Mr. Green is a teacher who works in India. And third example, when he stopped, nobody said anything. In this lectures, in this example, you know, I know what he said. In this sentence, there is a two part. One part is I know, another part is what he said. Here, I know is a part of a sentence, what he said is a part of a sentence. In the second example, you see Mr. Green is a teacher who works in India. Here, Mr. Green is a part of a sentence, who works in India is a part of a sentence. In example 3, when he stopped, no one said anything. Here, when he stopped is a part of a sentence and no one said anything also part of a sentence. Students, you will notice one thing, that both the clause have some similar characteristics or similar aspects. You see, in example 1, I know. Here, I is a subject and know is a finite verb. You see FV means finite verb. In the another part of this sentence, you see he is a subject and say it is a finite verb. In the second example, Mr. Green is a subject, is a finite verb. In the next part of the sentence, who is a subject, works a finite verb. In the third example, when he stopped, he is a subject and stop is a finite verb. In the another part of this sentence, no one subject and say it is a finite verb. You see every part of the sentence, has subject and finite verb. I know has a subject and finite verb. He said this part of the sentence has also a subject and a finite verb. Okay, students, in English grammar, the part of a sentence which has a subject and a finite verb is called a clause. In that sense, I know is also a clause, and what is said it is also a clause because both part has subjects and finite verbs. In the second example, Mr. Green is a teacher. Here, Mr. Green is a teacher. This part has a subject and finite verb. Who works in India. Here, you see this part also has a subject and a finite verb. In the third example, when he stopped, no one said anything. Here, this part, when he stopped, has a subject and a finite verb. No one said anything has a subject and finite verb. So, in English grammar, the part that has a subject and finite verb is called a clause. Now you could understand. In the examples, every part is a clause. Okay, now you see the definition of the clause. A clause is a group of words or part of a sentence that contain a subject and a finite verb. So, the main element of a clause has a finite verb and a subject. Okay, let's see the examples again. Classification of clause. I know what he said. In this example, I know is a clause. What he said is a clause. In this sentence, there are two clauses, but the status, the importance of two clauses are not the same. One clause, I know, can express its idea clearly, independently. That is why this clause is called principal clause. Here, the another clause, what he said, this clause cannot express its meaning, its idea sense clearly. That is why this clause is called subordinate clause. Here, PC means principal clause, SC means subordinate clause. Let's see another example. Mr. Green is a teacher who works in India. Here, Mr. Green is a teacher. This part can express its idea clearly. That is why this clause is called principal clause. On the other hand, who works in India, this clause cannot express its idea clearly. That is why this clause is called subordinate clause. You see the next example. When he stopped, no one said anything. Here, when he stopped, this clause cannot express its idea clearly or independently. So, this clause, when he stopped, is called subordinate clause, and no one said anything. This clause is called principal clause. Okay. So, we can divide the clauses here into two categories. They are in the fourth example, you see, my brother who lives in New Works is visiting us next week. In this sentence, my brother is visiting us with next week is a principal clause. On the other hand, who lives in New York is a subordinate clause. So, you see the clauses can be divided into two categories, two classifications, and they are principal clause and subordinate clause. Okay, this clause is also called main clause or principal clause, subordinate clause or dependent clause. Okay. Now you will learn how subordinate clause starts or begins. Basically, subordinate clause starts with subordinate conjunctions. Now you will learn what are the subordinate conjunctions. You see subordinate conjunctions, WH words. Here WH words means who, which, where, when, how. These are WH words, and besides WH words there is since, as, that, because, if, lest, though, although. These are the words, these are the conjunctions that are called subordinate conjunction. If any conjunction starts with subordinate conjunctions is called subordinate clause. In that sense, you can call what is said is a subordinate conjunction. Who works in India, when he stopped, who lives in New York. These red marked clauses are called subordinate clauses because these subordinate clauses begins with what, who, when and who. So these clauses are called subordinate clause. Subordinate clause and main clause comprise complex sentence. Okay, now you could understand how a complex sentence is formed. A complex sentence is formed with two clauses. One is main clause, another is subordinate clause. Okay, in that sense, I know what he said is a complex sentence. Mr. Green is a teacher who works in India, is also a complex sentence. When he stopped, no one said anything, also a complex sentence. And my brother who lives in New York is visiting us next week. This sentence also a complex sentence because this sentence have a main clause as well as and a subordinate clause. Okay. Now we will learn position of subordinate clause, where in English sentence, in complex sentence, where subordinate clauses can be used or can be positioned. In the first example you see, I know what he say here. After the main clause, after the principal clause comes the subordinate clause. In the second example, you again see after the principal clause, subordinate clause comes. In the third example, you see when he stopped, no one said anything. Here, before the principal clause comes the subordinate clause. And in the fourth example, you see inside the main clause, subordinate clause comes. So we can say subordinate clause comes after main clause, before the main clause, what inside the main clause. These are the position of subordinate clause. I think you have got the point. I tried my best to make you understand what is the clause and how clauses are used, how this clause form complex sentence, and I think you will be able to find out what is principal clause or main clause, what is subordinate clause or dependent clause. Now I will give some I will give some sentence to find out complex sentence, find out subordinate clause from this sentence. Okay, you can write these sentences in your writing script. Find out the subordinate clauses from the following sentences. Number 1, if we maintain lockdown properly, we will be able to overcome COVID-19 soon. 2, since it is a dangerous, contagious disease, we should maintain social distancing. 3, we are staying at home so that we can keep ourselves free from this deadly disease. We should make people aware as much as we can. Tell me what you know about it. Students, this is all today. Try to find out the subordinate clause from the sentences, and I think next day in next class once again we'll meet online. Until then, you be in good health. Dear students, how are you? I think you are well and having a good time with this year. Today, I would like to discuss one transformation of sentence part 2. In this part, I will discuss one how to transform relative pronoun based complex sentence into simple one. Okay, first of all, we should know what are the relative pronouns. Let's see. Students, you see relative pronouns who is that. This the main 3 relative pronouns. These relative pronouns has subjective form, objective form and possessive form. Subjective form who, which, that. Objective form whom, which, that, and possessive form whose and of which. Let's know which relative pronoun refers to what types of noun. See the example 1. My brother who or that works in Canada has come home. In the second sentence, he rented a flat which or that belonged to a rich man. Here you see relative pronoun who or that referred to a person, that means my brother. So to refer a person or a group of person, relative pronoun who and that are used. In the second sentence, you can see he rented a flat which or that belonged to a rich man. Here, which or that is a relative pronoun. This relative pronoun refers to a thing, flat. So, which or that refers to a subject or a group of subject. Here you see that this relative pronoun refer both the person or a thing. You see in example 1, who or that refer to the subject my brother, it is a person. This person is called also noun or antecedent. You should know before a relative pronoun there must be a noun or antecedent. Antecedent in Bangla is called Purbopad. Before a relative pronoun there must be a noun or antecedent. Without antecedent, who, which, that cannot be used a relative pronoun. Likewise, in the second sentence, you see before which or that there is a noun, and this noun refers to a thing. So here flood is a thing or noun. This noun is called also an antecedent. Antecedent is in Bangla is a Purbopad. Okay, I think you could understand which relative pronoun refers what types of noun. We see again. Number 1, to refer a person, a group of persons, who and that are used. Number 2, to refer a thing or a group of things, which and that are used. Let's see the examples again. My brother who or that works in Canada has come home. Here, who or that works in Canada is a subordinate clause. This subordinate clause, because this clause begins with a subordinate conjunction who or that. That is why this clause is called subordinate clause. This clause is also called a relative clause because this clause begins with a relative conjunction, that is who or that. This clause is also called an adjective clause because this clause acts in the sentence like an adjective. Okay, we should clarify one thing, that we know generally an adjective comes before a noun and modifies it, but here in the sentence my brother who or that works in Canada has come home, here you see the adjective clause comes after the noun and modifies it. You see the example, Mahir is a good boy. Here good is an adjective word. I saw a boy who was speaking loudly. Here who was speaking loudly is an adjective clause. Adjective word comes before a noun and modifies it. Adjective word. And an adjective clause comes after the noun and modifies it. Okay? Clear to you? What is the difference between adjective word and adjective clause? Both adjective word and adjective clause act like adjectives, but their position is different. Okay, let's know the characteristics of complex sentence. Okay, students, let's see the examples. My brother who or that works in Canada has come home. Here that or who works in Canada is a subordinate clause, and my brother has come home is a main clause or principal clause. In the second sentence, you see he rented a flat. This is a main clause. On the other hand, which or that belong to a rich man is a subordinate clause. So we can say a complex sentence consists of two clauses, at least two clauses, one main clause and at least a subordinate clause. You see, a complex sentence consists of a main or principal clause and a subordinate clause at least. So you have got the point. What is the structure of complex sentence? It is one way we can learn complex sentence, but there is another way to learn complex sentence. First, you see, my brother is subject here, and subject 1, who or that also a subject is subject 2, and works in a Canada is a verb 1, and has come, he come is a finite verb 2. Here you see a complex sentence has at least two subjects and two finite verbs. Okay, it is also another characteristics, another way to understand complex sentence. Once again, we should know the characteristics of a complex sentence: at least two subjects, number 2, at least two finite verbs, and there will be a subordinate conjunction. Okay, these are the in two ways we can understand, we can know the complex sentence well, right? Okay, go to the next point. Student, you may come across different types of relative clauses while you working out the complex sentence into simple one. Just I will try to make you understand the types of relative clauses. First one, it may come to you in active structure. That means relative clause will be described in active form of expression. He rented a flat which or that belonged to a rich man. Here, which belong to a rich man, this clause, this relative clause is expressed in active structure. In second point, this relative clause or adjective clause may come to you in passive structure. You see, the book which was published last year got a good market. Here, which was published last year, this expression, this structure is expressed in passive structure. So to solve this problem, you have to take another way to make this complex sentence into simple one. Okay, there is another structure, that is structure relative pronoun, RP here relative pronoun plus be verb plus adjective. Sometimes you may get the relative clause in this structure, and another form structure right from relative pronoun plus be verb plus noun. In some sometime you may get in this structure the relative clause. So there are 4 or more varieties of relative clause. Now I will discuss number 1, that means active structure. When you come across the relative clauses in active structure, how you will transform this complex sentence into simple one. Okay. In the first example, you see, my brother who were there works in Canada has come home. Here relative pronoun who or that is relative pronoun, and works here finite verb or main verb. You have to first, to make this complex sentence into simple one, first you have to omit relative pronoun first. Then the main verb work should be changed into its present participle form or ing form. There is no change. You see the answer. My brother working in Canada has come. Here who or that is omitted. Works you change the work verb into its present participle form or ing form. Beside this there is no change. Okay, go to the next sentence. He rented a flat which or that belongs to this man. Here which or that is relative pronoun. You must omit this relative pronoun. And you see, belonged is past in, it is in present indefinite tense. You should not you should change this belong verb into its present participle form, that means ing form. He rented a flat belonging to a rich man. Here in first sentence you see the sentence in present tense, and you in the second sentence you see belonged is in the past tense. It doesn't matter, but in all cases you will make the verb into its present participle form. He rented a flat belonging to a rich man. Okay, except this, you may get the sentence in continuous form. The man who is sleeping at the station is a porter. Here who is sleeping, you will omit here relative pronoun as well as be verb also, and sleeping already in present participle form. So in this, to make this complex sentence into simple, there is no change except this. The man who is sleeping at the station is a porter. The answer will be here, the man sleeping at the station is a porter. You in active structure or in active expression, sentence may come into in present indefinite tense or past indefinite tense or present continuous or past continuous, no problem. But if it is come in continuous tense, you should omit relative pronoun as well as the be verb. Okay, see the another example. I saw a boy who was speaking loudly. Here this sentence is present continuous tense, but it is in active structure. So you will omit the relative pronoun who and was here. The answer will be here, I saw a boy speaking loudly. Now you have understood, known about characteristics of complex sentence. Now I would like to inform you about the characteristics of complex sentence. You already have understood what is the complex sentence, but just to analyze, I would like to analyze a simple sentence and what is its characteristics. A simple sentence has two elements only. That means a simple sentence must have a subject and a finite verb. You see, my brother is a subject, one subject here, and come here is finite verb 1. That means working here is a non-finite verb or present participle form, is not finite verb. Okay, in this in a simple sentence there may be lot of non-finite verb, but finite verb, there will be one finite verb and one subject. This is the characteristics of a complex sentence. Okay, you see, in example 2, he subject rented finite verb, and the man, in the example 3 the man subject and is a finite verb. In the example 4, I is subject and saw is a finite verb. Okay students, you will have some homework. Transform the following complex sentence into simple one. You just take a pause on your laptop and take the questions in your writing script and try to solve the problem. These questions are in active expression. Try to solve it, and in the next class I will appear to you with the I will solve this problem in the next class. Okay, so far I tried to make you understand what is complex sentence based on relative conjunction. I try to make you understand about what is relative pronouns, and what is the difference between relative clause and difference between relative clause and adjective word and adjective clause. And further, after that, I have tried to make you understand what is the characteristics of complex sentence and simple sentence. You should go through the lecture very minutely, then you will be able to learn a good lesson. Until then, you will be in good health and try to stay at home. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Dear students, how are you? I think you are well and staying at your home. Today I would like to present a lesson on transformation of sentence part 3. In this part, I would like to focus on how to transform relative pronoun based complex sentence into simple one. In the previous class, I have presented relative pronoun based complex sentence into simple one. I suggest you to follow the series classes, then you will be able to understand very well this class. Okay, let's see some examples. Today, relative clause in passive structure, I will discuss how we will transfer the complex sentences based on relative clause in passive structure into simple one. Let's see an example. The book which was published last year got a good market. In the sentence you see which was published last year. This is a subordinate clause. This clause also called relative clause because it starts with relative pronoun which. It is also called an adjective clause because this clause acts as an adjective. You see, the clause is in passive structure. In the previous class, I discussed relative clause in active structure. In today's class, I will discuss relative pronoun in passive structure. You see, which was published last year. This clause is in passive structure. To change these types of complex sentence into simple sentence, you have to focus your focus to relative pronoun which. In this case, you have to omit which, then you have to omit be verb. That means you see here be verb is was, because this clause is written in passive form. That is why you have to omit which as well as be verb. Except this, there is no change in this sentence to turn into this complex sentence into simple sentence. Okay, let's see the answer. Simple. The book published last year got a good market. Here you see which and was are omitted. Published is put after the antecedent book. Here this published, this verb is not finite verb. It looks like a finite verb, but it is not finite verb. It is non-finite verb because this verb acts as an adjective. So this verb is called non-finite verb or past participle form. You know, every past participle form acts like an adjective. Here the finite verb is got and main subject is the book. So this sentence is simple sentence because it has only one subject, the book, and one finite verb, got. And you see the published is not a finite verb, it is a non-finite verb or past participle form. That is why this sentence is a simple sentence. Clear? Okay, see the next example. I bought the car which was imported from Japan. Here you see relative pronoun which. In this sentence relative pronoun modify the object the car. Here car also a noun not. Which was imported from Japan. This relative clause is written in passive structure. So like the first complex sentence, you have to change relative pronoun which and be verb was. Except this, there is no change in the sentence to make this complex sentence into simple one. So the answer will be I bought the car imported from Japan. See the example. I bought the car imported from Japan. Okay, next to the go to the next point. In this point I will discuss when relative pronoun comes in relative pronoun plus be verb plus adjective form. If relative clause comes in this form, how we will turn the complex sentence into simple form. You see, the boy who is industrious can shine in life. Here, who is industrious? This clause is also an adjective clause or a relative clause or subordinate clause. To transform this type of complex sentence into simple one, you have to omit relative pronoun who and be verb is. And you see, industrious is an adjective word. You have to put this adjective word before the antecedent, the boy. Boy is antecedent here. Except this, there is no change. Only you have to omit who, relative pronoun and be verb is. Okay, let's see the answer. Simple. An industrious boy can shine in life. You see, here industrious adjective word comes before the noun or antecedent, the boy. Except this, there is no change. Okay. You see another example. I helped a woman who was helpless. Here you see who was helpless. This is here who and was. These two words will be omitted and adjective word helps will go before the women, the antecedent. So answer, I helped a helpless woman. This is simple, right? Next, I saw a boy who was poor. In this example, you see who, relative pronoun, was, be verb, poor, adjective. So you have to omit relative pronoun who and be verb was. Then you will take the word poor, adjective word, before the antecedent or noun or boy. Then you will get a simple sentence. I saw a boy. I saw a poor boy. Okay, this is all about this thing. And next to the another point. In this point, the relative clause will appear in this one. Relative pronoun plus be verb plus noun phrase. If you get this type of complex sentence, you need to apply another way to transform the complex sentence into simple one. You see the example. The girl who is my sister got the first prize. Here you see who and each. Who is relative pronoun is a be verb. My sister is a noun phrase. In this case, you have to change this complex sentence into simple one. You have to omit relative pronoun who and each, be verb. Except this, there is no change. See the answer. The girl, comma, my sister, comma, got the first prize. Here, girl is antecedent or noun word that relative pronoun refers to, and my sister here becomes an appositive. Okay, students, what is appositive? We should know. Appositives is a word or a group of words that is used to explain a word or a group of words mentioned before it. That is, my sister is an appositive because my sister illustrates the girl, that explains the word girl. That is why my sister becomes an appositive. Student, you should know if an appositive comes inside inside a sentence, you have to put two commas both side the appositives. That is why you see the girl, comma, my sister, comma, got the first prize. In this sentence, there is one subject, the girl, and one finite verb is got. That is why this sentence is a simple sentence. Okay, see another example. Jerry, who was an orphan boy, come to the orphanage at 4. Jerry is an antecedent or noun not that relative pronoun refers to. In this sentence, you have to omit who or was, who and was, and after omitting these two words, there is no change to make this complex sentence into simple one. And you have to put a comma after Jerry, then you will write an orphan boy, then you put comma, then you write came to the orphanage at 4. So you see Jerry, comma, an orphan boy came into an orphanage at 4. Here an orphan boy is an antecedent because an orphan boy illustrates or explain Jerry. So an orphan boy is an appositive. I think you have got the point, except the main part of today I finished. I will answer to the previous lesson. You see, answer to the previous lesson, transformation part 2. Answer to the first, number 1, question 1. The boy begging from door to door is an orphan. 2. The writer lived in a cabin belonging to the orphanage. Arsenicosis is caused by drinking tubewell water containing arsenic. The man coming into the room was short and thin. We met the people living in the cottage. He was the man buying my house. Okay, the another part of this lesson today is homework. Transform the following complex sentences into simple ones. The people who are affected by the severe cyclone need immediate help. The woman which reported is a spy. The news that has been published in the daily newspaper was not completely true. The book fair which was held at our school premises last year created much enthusiasm among the students. Those who are brave deserve the fair. Okay, students, try to transform the following sentence into simple ones, and you follow the next class, then I will give the answer. Today this is wall, and I have discussed how relative pronoun based complex sentence changed into simple one. You will be able to get a good harvest if you follow these series lectures. Then it will be helpful for you I strongly believe that you are with us and following our class. If you do this, inshallah, you will be able to do better in the next exam or in your next life. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Hello students, how are you? I think you are well and having a good time with this year. Today I will like to present a lesson 1, transformation of sentence, part 4. In this part I will focus on how to transform though although based complex sentence into simple one. Before going to the main part of this sentence, I would like to focus one subjective form or positive subjective form, objective form and positive form of some pronouns. Okay, let's see. You see, I, subjective form, objective form me and possessive form my. Likewise, we, us, our, you and your, he, him, his, she, her, they, them, their, it, its. Basically, I will focus on possessive form of these pronouns in this lesson today. Next, I will show some verbs and their present participle form and ing form. Let's see. You see, be verb. Be verbs are am, is, are, was, were, and their present participle form and ing form is being. You see the verb have verb. Have verb is have, has, had, and their present participle form and ing form is having. Other main verb such as do, work, and their present participle form and ing form is doing, working. Student, these two items, possessive form and present participle form, we will need at the end of this. We will need to solve the problem regarding this, how to transform this complex sentence into simple one. Let's see. Though although is a subordinate clause. If any clause begins or starts with this clause, this clause is called subordinate clause. You see, though or although he was weak, he went to school. Here, though and although is a subordinate conjunction, and though or although he was weak, this clause is called subordinate clause. This clause has also another name, that is adverbial clause, because this clause works or acts as an adverb. So this clause is called an adverbial clause. And here, he went to school is a main clause or principal clause. To transform this type of complex sentence into simple one, you should focus mainly on the subordinate clause, because you need to change or turn the subordinate clause into a phrase. Students, a phrase, there is a difference between a phrase and a clause. A clause, a clause is a part of a sentence having a subject and finite verb. A phrase also is a part of a sentence without a subject and a finite verb. So, though or although he was weak, you have to turn this clause into a phrase. That is, instead of though, although, you have to use despite or in spite of. Though, instead of though, although, you have to use despite or in spite of. And you come to the subject. Here subject is he. You will use the possessive form of the subject he. The possessive form of subject he is his. So, despite or in spite of which. Next, come to the main verb was. Was is here is main verb. It is also called be verb. Okay, you have to change this be verb into its present participle form, that is ing form. The ing form of was is being. Okay, despite or in spite of his being weak. Okay, after this, that means after being, after present participle form, rest of the clause will be unchanged. Okay, there will be no change. Okay, this is happening in the subordinate clause. Okay, next we come to the main clause. Student, in most cases no change happened in the main clause. That means next they will, after this main clause will appear. Okay, he went to school. Okay, the simple is despite or in spite of his being weak, he went to school. This is simple sentence. In the red marked phrase, there is no subject, no finite verb. That is why this part of the sentence is called a phrase. You see verb being is here non-finite verb, so it is not finite verb, it is not a phrase, it is not a clause, it is a phrase. So this sentence has only one subject he and one finite verb is went. This is why this sentence is a simple sentence. Okay, we see another example. Sometimes we can use noun form of the adjective weak. If we use adjective form, if we use noun form of this adjective word, in that case being is not needed. Being is not needed. Okay, let's see. Despite or in spite of his, noun form of weak is weakness. In spite or despite of his weakness, he went to school, and I will put the main clause after that, and in the main clause there is no change. He went to school. Okay, in two system, in two ways we can change this complex sentence into simple sentence. Okay, got the point? Okay, go to the next slide. Student, you see another example of though although. Though although he had qualification, he did not get a job. In the subordinate clause, here
as a main verb had is used. Okay, in this case everything is like before, but just you have to change the word have into its present participle form having. Okay, let's see. Despite or in spite of his having qualifications, তার কোয়ালিফিকেশন থাকা সত্ত্বেও he did not get a job, সে একটি জব পায় নাই। Here you just had is being changed into its present participle form or ing form having. Except you see in the main clause there is no change. Change happened in the subordinate clause. Okay, see, have verb. Have verbs are have, has, had. Their present participle form and ing form is having. Okay. Go to the next point. Though the man has much riches, he wants more. Here, though the man has much riches, this is a subordinate clause. You have to change the subordinate clause into a phrase. So you have to omit though. Instead of omit, you have to use despite or in spite of, and then you have to use possessive form of the word man. You know the possessive form of man is his, and you have to change the main verb has here into its present participle form, that means having. And except at the rest of the part of the subordinate clause there is no change. So answer is despite or in spite of his having much riches, the man wants more. Here you get a change. Instead of he, the man is used, because in the subordinate clause man was used, but in the phrase in spite or despite or in spite of his having much riches, in this phrase we omitted the noun or the man. That is why here in the main clause the he is replaced by the noun the man. Okay, got the point? Okay, let's see the next point. In case of other words, other verbs, do will be turned into its present participle form, that means doing, work, working. Though Ahmed worked hard, he failed in the examination. Here, although Ahmed worked hard, this is a subordinate clause. You will change the subordinate clause into a phrase, and he in the main clause he will be replaced by Ahmed. The answer is in spite of or despite his working hard, Ahmed failed in the examination. You see, just he in the main clause is replaced by the word Ahmed here, because Ahmed is noun word. Clear? In the examples you have seen everywhere main verb its present participle form. It may be verb or have verb or other main verb. Just you have to change the main verb into its present participle form. Okay students, we see another type of structure in this field. Okay, if you come across any structure of subordinate clause, that is though, although plus subject plus be verb plus noun or noun phrase, how you will turn this complex sentence into simple one? Okay, let's see. Example: though cricket is a costly game, people of all classes enjoy playing it. Here you see the subject of the two clauses are different. In the subordinate clause, subject is cricket, and in the principal clause, subject people. Okay, two subjects are different. They're not same thing and same persons. And you see subordinate clause, though cricket is a costly game. Here you see costly game is a noun phrase. Before this noun phrase there is a be verb. If such happens, you should omit though, and you should omit the subject also, but the subject will be replaced. This subject will put in another instead of another word in the principal clause, and each be verb will be omitted here. So answer will be though in spite of a costly game. In spite of a costly game, people of all classes enjoy playing cricket. Here it would be replaced by the word cricket. Let's see the answer. Despite or in spite of a costly game, people of all classes enjoy playing cricket. Here pronoun it is it word cricket, nothing else. Okay students, every time we have seen changes happen in the subordinate clause, and very little change we noticed in the principal clause. Most of the time principal clause remain unchanged. Okay, let's see the another example. Though she was a nice little girl, she was not an ordinary child. Here the subject of the both clauses is the same, she. And we see here was his principal verb or be verb, and there is another phrase, a nice little girl is a noun phrase. So answer will be despite or in spite of a nice little girl, she was not an ordinary child. In this case you have seen be verb and subject is omitted. Just after that noun phrase came. Despite or in spite of a nice little girl. Okay students, for further information I would like to make you know that what is noun phrase. Generally we say the phrase which starts with a adjective, with a article also an adjective, is called a noun phrase. I repeat, the phrase which begins with an article is called a noun phrase. Okay, I think you could understand. This is all about today's lesson. Main focus is complete. Okay. Now I would like to show the answers of the previous lessons. Answer to the previous lesson, transformation part 3. 1. The people affected by severe cyclone need immediate help. The women reported is a spy. The news published in the daily newspaper was not completely true. The book fair held at our school premises last year created much enthusiasm among the students. The brave deserve the fair. Okay, students, I would like to give further information about though and although. What is the difference between two words? What is the similarity and dissimilarity between two words? Okay, let's see. Though is always used as a conjunction. You see, though he was late, he stopped to buy a sandwich. Here, though is a conjunction, it is subordinate conjunction. It is though always used as a conjunction. But though is used as a conjunction as well as an adverb. You see, used as a conjunction, though she was a nice little girl, she was not an ordinary child. Here, though is used as a conjunction, but this though can be used as an adverb. Okay, let's see. When it is used as an adjective, adverb, example 1, fortunately though, this is a story with a happy ending. Here, fortunately though is used as an adverb. In the next example, he said he would wait for me. He didn't though. Here, though is used as an adverb. This is world today. I try to make you understand how to transform though although based complex sentence into simple sentences. I think you have got the point. If you have further inquiry, if you have problem, you can tell me in your comment box, and I try to make you understand this lesson. I have mentioned possessive form, subjective form and objective form of some pronouns. I have shown some words and their present participle form, and I have solved some problems regarding this though although. I think you have got the point. If you learn this lesson very mindfully, I will come in next time with another type of lesson. Until then, be in good health. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.
Dear students, how are you? I think you are well and having a good time with this year. Today I would like to take a class 1 transformation of sentence part 2. In this part, I will focus to show how to transfer complex sentence with since, as, when, subordinate conjunction into simple sentence. Let's see some examples. here students, this type of sentence, complex sentence, we can divide into two categories or two types. One type of sentence having same subject in the both clauses, that is, since the old man killed the bird, he brought bad luck to the crew. Here the old man and old man in the subordinate clause and he in the principal clause is the same person. And another type of sentence, different subjects in the both clauses. That means here you see, when the meeting was over, we went back home. Here in the subordinate clause, the meeting is a subject, and in the principal clause, we is the subject. These two subjects are does not denote that same person or same thing. Now I will show how will we transfer the subject having same subject in the both clause. You see, when the thief saw the police, he ran away. Here subordinate clause, when the thief saw the police, the subject in the subordinate clause and he subject in the principal clause. Both subject denote the same person. So in this case, you have to omit when, and you should also omit a thief here. But this thief, you will use this thief in the principal clause instead of he, and you will transfer the finite verb saw into its present participle form, that means ing form. You see the answer, simple. Seeing the police, that means saw became present, saw turn into its present participle form, then seeing the police, then he is replaced by the subject, the thief ran away. Except this, there is no change in the sentence. Okay, you see another type of sentence. It is as I had forgotten him, I went out. Here as I had forgotten him, it is subordinate clause. You should change the subordinate clause into a phrase. Then you should omit as and should omit the subject I, and you should use present participle form of the verb had, and except this, in the subordinate clause there is no change. Answer is, having forgotten him, I went out. You see, had turn into its present participle form having. Having forgotten him, I went out. In the principal clause there is no change, and having forgotten him, this is a phrase. Okay, next example, as he saw the tiger, he ran away in fear. Here you should omit as, it is a subordinate conjunction, and you should omit he, and you should turn this finite verb saw into its present participle form or ing form, that means seeing. Answer is, seeing the tiger, he ran away in fear. Okay, so let's see the another example. Since Jamil was small, he could not work hard. In this type of sentence, this sentence can be
turned into simple sentence in many styles, many ways, but I will show here one system, and that is, here since will be omitted, as well as the subject he. The Jamil will sit instead of he in the principal clause, and was here is be verb. This was will be turned into its present participle form or ing form, that means being small, Jamil could not work hard. See the answer, being small, Jamil could not work hard. This type of sentence, that means number 4, you can change this complex sentence into simple one in many ways. That means you can use because of, that the answer will be then because of his being small, Jamil could not work hard. Or if you use the noun form of small, then the answer will be because of his smallness, Jamil could not work hard. And example 5, Selim was loved by the authorities as he had integrity. Here in this sentence you see subordinate clause comes after the main clause, that means as he had integrity. So you can take the subordinate clause at the beginning of the sentence, that is in simple having integrity. Here had is the main verb, and so I turned the had verb into its present participle form, having integrity. Selim was loved by the authorities. This is the examples regarding same subject in the both clauses. Now we will see different subjects in both clauses. Different subject in both clauses. You see an example. Since the weather was very cold, there were no birds or animal in the snow-covered country. Here, since the weather was very cold, this is a subordinate clause. You should turn this subordinate clause into a phrase. In that case, you have to omit since, and you have to change the main verb of the subordinate clause into its present participle form. That is, here the main verb is was. You have to change this was verb into its present participle form, that means being. Except this, there is no change. Okay, let's see the answer. The weather being very cold, I turned was verb into its present participle form, being. Except this change, there is no change. The weather being very cold, there were no birds or animals in the snow-covered country. You see in the present, in the principal clause, there is no change. So in this case, if the both subjects in the both clause are not the same, that means if the subjects are different, then you have to turn the main verb of the subordinate clause into its present participle form. Except this, there is no change. Okay, see another example. When the meeting was over, we went back home. Here, meeting is a subject and we is a subject of principal clause. Both subjects are different, and in the subordinate clause, main verb is be verb, that means was. So you should omit the subordinate conjunction when, and after that you should change the be verb into its present participle form, that is being. See the answer. The meeting being over, we went back home. You see, you turn the subordinate clause into a phrase. That means the meeting being over, it is a phrase now, and we went back home, this is principal clause. This is in the principal clause there is no change. In the simple sentence, we is a only subject and when is only a finite verb only. So this is a simple sentence. Okay students, we will see another type of complex sentence which is connected with when. In this type of sentence, complex sentence, you see when plus time clause or a time of action. This type of clause will be used after when. See an example. When it is spring, the cuckoo sings. Here, when it is spring, this is a time clause, and it is here. It is an impersonal subject. So in this case, if the clause denotes a season, in that case you will omit when and it subject and be verb. These three part you will be omitted, and instead of this you will use in or during. So you will, to make it simple, you use in or during, and in the principal clause there is no change. See the answer. In or during spring, the cuckoo sings. You see, when he was 9, this is a subordinate clause. This subordinate clause denotes age. So if it denotes age, you just in that case you will omit when and subject and be verb, and instead of this you will you have to use at the age of. See the answer. At the age of 9, he left the village. This subordinate clause in the example 2 refers an age. That is why you used at the age of and then the age, and in there is no change in principal clause. Another example of when it was raining, it is a time of action. This subordinate clause express a time of action. That is why when a subordinate clause express this type of notion, you have to use at the time of instead of when, it and be verb. Okay, you in that case you should omit a when, it and be verb, and instead of them you should use at the time of. At the time of raining, he woke up. At the time of, you see, at the time of he woke up. Okay, student, you have seen when in and during is used, or at the time of it, at the time of, or at the age of. When clause denotes a three types of categories. So you have to understand when what types of rules you will use. Dear students, this is all today. I have tried to make you understand when to transfer complex sentence with when, since, as, since, and you have already seen there are three categories of complex sentence which is used with when. So you should know the meaning of this sentence. You should understand the sentence. After understanding, you should take the initiative what types of rules you will apply to solve this complex sentence into simple one. Okay, this is all today, and next day inshallah I will come and teach another subject. Till then you will be good. I hope that. Thank you very much. Thank you all.